Good morning, everyone, or actually good evening. It's good to be here again, and we're going to talk about an important Bible story out of the book of Luke. And the way I want to set this up is I want to tell you about something that I had experienced when I worked in healthcare. And there's some things that happen in healthcare that a lot of us know about is when you are there at the hospital, you hear things kind of come out over the loudspeaker. Code blue means that someone's heart has stopped. Code red means that there's a fire somewhere. And they use these announcements in the hospital to communicate to everybody what's going on. So one day they announced what's called a code gray. And a code gray is when someone is becoming violent. And so they want to get people around that area that can help diffuse the situation or actually move people to safety. This one day, they announced that there was a code gray, and I went up to go see what had happened. And the individual that was causing the issue had been trying to escape from the hospital. And so the person was becoming more and more agitated, so they announced this code gray, and I went up there to see what was going on. And this individual, he was already in his room when I got there, very, very agitated. And I go into his room, and I sit down in my role as a chaplain, and the first thing he says to me is, "Who are you?" And I knew I only had one chance to get it right. So I looked him straight in the eyes, and I said, "I am the guy that's going to keep you from being tied to this bed all day." And his first word after that was, "Well, I want to go home. I just want to go home. I just want to get out of here." And I said, "Well, that's rule number one. You're not going to go home. You have a hole in your foot. It needs to heal. And if you think you're going to go home, that idea is dead. It's not going to happen." "Well, I want to go home." I'm telling you, we can't start there. Rule number one is that idea is dead. After a couple of hours of talking to him, he was able to calm down, and he understood that he wasn't going to go home. He didn't like it, but the situation was diffused, and he accepted that his hope of going home was gone. He had to stay there to get better. In the story in the Bible, Jesus is hanging out with his buddies, and it's just them. And they're talking amongst themselves, and Jesus says to them, "Hey guys, you're listening to people out there in the streets. What are they saying about me? Who do they say that I am?" Disciples start talking amongst themselves. "Well, some of them say that you're Elijah, and some of them say that you're this, and some of them say that you're all the prophets rolled up in one." And Jesus is like, okay. And he looks over to Peter, and he says, "Peter, here's the big test. Who do you say that I am?" Peter loved this guy. He says, "You're the man. You're the guy. You are it. You are godly. You are holy." And Jesus says to the rest of the people, he says, he's right. Number one, don't tell anyone what he just said. Number two, this is what you can expect because I am that person, is you can expect to suffer for me. You can even expect to pick up your cross and carry it to death for me. That's what it's going to mean to follow me because I am that guy. You will even disappoint your family, your parents, to follow me. That's pretty scary stuff when we think about following Jesus. I think of probably one of the best Jesus places that I've ever been to is Santa Monica. I love the Santa Monica Pier. Get on the I-10, you take it all the way to where it ends, and you are in Jesus land. You pass by Quartzsite, you pass by Blythe, you go past Indio because you know that you are going to that Jesus place. And when I get to Santa Monica Pier, you know what waits for me there? A waffle cone with ice cream and whipped cream on top. That's my Jesus place, man. So, but can you imagine getting in your car and going to that Jesus place, and you get there, and as you're walking towards the pier, a giant cross just comes up, and it has your name on it. And Jesus says, yeah, this is what it takes to follow me. Honestly, if that were me, I would have said, you know what? I'm a chaplain, so I was actually meaning to get off over in Riverside because there's some people that need some prayers there and stuff. So I'm just going to kind of go back, okay? Or you know what? I actually was going to go to Tijuana and go build some houses down there. That's how I'm going to serve you, Jesus. Jesus says, okay, yeah, if that's what you want to do, because this is what I need. I need all of you. I've always struggled with giving Jesus all of me. There's a rule that I live by, and it goes all the way back to the Old Testament, and it's this Latin word called the Imago Dei. And what the Imago Dei means is it's just Latin for the image of God, is that we are all created in the image of God. And if I'm really honest with you, I still struggle with that. I see people and I judge them. I see people and they scare me. I look at what they wear, I look at what they drive, I look at the stickers on their cars, I do all of this stuff, and this whole idea of the image of God that Jesus is calling me to is still very much alive in me, that I am unable to do it. I haven't died to what Jesus is calling me to do yet. When I was a kid, I played on a little league team in El Mirage, tried out for multiple teams and didn't make any of them. And then I found out that this police officer in town was going to start a team. So of course, all the misfits from the people that didn't make any of the other teams, joined his team. And of course, we were the worst team in the league. And I remember joining the team, and I wanted to be a pitcher. And after a couple games, it was obvious that I'm not a pitcher. And I thought I could be a catcher. And then I wanted to be first base, second base, third base. And by the end of the season, I ended up way out in the middle of nowhere in center field, where the ball never goes. And I can honestly tell you that I was angry that whole season long. My pride was hurt. I was disappointed at everyone else around me that I wasn't up there on the pitcher mound, but they needed me in center field. That's where I belonged. I had to let go of what I wanted that season. I had to let go of my pride. It had to die. For God's sakes, it had to die. God is calling us to amazing places. And some of the most amazing places we'll ever go are terrifying. But don't be afraid to go out there in the middle of nowhere, center field if it even is, so that you can be faithful to where God is calling you. Amen. Have a great week.